Is the quarantine getting you down? Well, don't look so blue. Try Cowboy hat. This fun accessory turns all your favorite isolation pastimes into joyous activities. Bored of staring blankly out of a window? Well, now with a cowboy hat, it's fun. Even such ordeals as not being able to hear your co-workers on Skype becomes fun and no longer makes your heart hurt. Even daily rituals such as staring at your glazed over blank expression now bring you joy instead of existential dread. So why wait? All you have now is time anyway. Buy a cowboy hat. So the things that you will need are contact cement, sealer, acrylic paint in brown and black shades, a craft knife, paintbrushes, and EVA foam in 2mm and 5mm thicknesses, as well as iron and a tin foil. So this is the template I got. It's from a shop called Melamine Cosplay on Etsy. It's less than a fiver and you're supporting an independent artist, so it's a pretty good deal. So I just printed that out, cut it out, and transferred it over onto some 5mm EVA foam. And I'm just cutting that out using a standard craft knife. The trick is with cutting EVA foam is to keep your knife sharp. Every 3 to 5 cuts, just give it a touch up on a sanding block, or if you don't have one on hand, some low grit sandpaper. So now I'm just transferring the brim over onto some more 5mm foam as well. I love being able to speak English well, it's really fun. So to get the leather look of his hat, we're going to crinkle up some tin foil and then lay it flat onto our piece of EVA foam, and then place an iron on for about 10 seconds, and then just peel it off and you'll have a fun little leather texture underneath. If you do want a deeper, more intense leathery look, leave the tin foil to cool down, and then so the plastic in the EVA foam will dry and stick to the tin foil, so when you take it off you'll tear it slightly in a way that works for the leather look. So this piece here I left to cool down. It's a bit deeper and more intense than the last piece you saw. I kind of went over the whole hat with this more intense leather look. I like the vibe better. So now I'm just heat forming and sealing our pieces. This just makes gluing it together later easier, as you're not going to have to wrestle a flat piece of material into a curved shape and won't try to pull apart as much. Heat sealing is good as well because it also closes up the cells in the EVA foam, making it easier to take sealer and paint later on. So if you live in a cold as fuck house like I do, it's just a cheap way to warm yourself up. So now I'm adding contact cement, and you want to add a thin layer onto both of the sides that you're gluing together. You want to add a thin sheet and leave it to dry for about 5 to 10 minutes until it's no longer tacky, and then it's pretty much instant adhesion. I'm not good at this, as you can see, so now I need to do a lot of cleanup. So I'm just going with my rotary tool, the sanding belt on it, trying to get rid of all the unevenness, which is the majority of it. You want to have your mouth open as wide as possible when doing this to make sure you catch all the dried bits of glue and foam in your mouth to make sure it doesn't go all over your floor. So now I'm going in with some 400 grit sandpaper just to smooth out any more bumps or unevenness. I just glued a bit of 400 grit to a filing stick, which made it a bit easier. And now to kind of hide the seams a bit better, we're going to be going with some more tin foil, just to have the leather cracks go over our seams, just try and hide them a bit better. Also, now with the heat warming up the foam, I can ply the top bit into a more curved shape. I'm just kind of fisting the hat, I don't know how to better describe it than that. You'll just vibe with the hat, you'll know where it needs to go. I covered it in films a bit, but I went with a soldering iron to add stitches and scratches along the hat. This is a man who gets thrown off his horse pretty much every 2 steps, so his hat's pretty beat up. So now I just glued the brim on just using contact cement. And now we're sealing it using a Hex Flex poly primer? No. Polyprops, hex, sealer, shit, fuck. A sealer, we're using sealer. So I'm just kind of slathering that all on. So now I'm just cutting these strips to make the lasso bit for that goes around the brim. I did this by just kind of taping 2 blades together. If you're a child, don't do this. If you're an adult, I'm not your mum. So you want to cut out 5 of the same length. We're going to be doing a 5 plait pleat. To make sure you have the right length, you want to wrap it around your hat twice and kind of tie a fake knot just to make sure you have the right length. Keep in mind when you plait it, it will take away some of the length, and when you knot it, it will also take away some of the length. So I'm demonstrating here how to do the 5 plait pleat. I'm not the world's best at explaining anything, so I will link some better videos down below if you want to do this. So this is just me doing it in real time with my strips of 2mm foam. Also, Hawaiian shirt and pajama bottoms is my quarantine look. Please don't judge me. So now we're just painting the hat the wrong colour brown because we can't colour mix to save our lives. I do go in and fix it later, but this is the footage I have of painting it. I am using a makeup brush because it's a good brush to paint with, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of just sponging on some paint where the seams are just to hide them a bit better. You can hide a lot of your crimes with sponging on paint. So I spray painted my lasso white and then painted it this pasty Oompa Loompa colour, and now I'm weathering it in the most stupid way possible by marinating it in this brown soup paint. So you really want to just tenderize your meat in this paint. There are 10 million easier ways to do this, I don't know why I did it like this. It's also very important that you do want to break it when you're doing this. The hat actually won't work at all if you don't break your lasso in the soup, so make sure you don't skip that step. I really thought a pan would make this look less disgusting. So now we're going to do a bit of weathering on the hat. We're using that same Oompa Loompa colour to go in where all the scratches are, to give it a look of dyed leather that's been torn, to reveal the natural leather colour, I guess. Yeah. Nice. We're just sponging a bit more colour onto the high points where he would headbutt the rocks most after being flung off his horse. Just to show where some of the dye's been like scraped off, but not super scraped off. So now we're going to weather it with these dust colours, which is just my contour palette that I got free at some point in my life. It kind of gets rid of that shine that he doesn't really have on his hat because it's a very old beaten up hat. So now we're just gluing the lasso on. You want to start at the back when you're doing this, and you want to do get one thing around the bottom and then start on the other one going around, otherwise you have like an annoying crossover. So I'm demonstrating on my other hat that I made do the knot because my lasso was too short, but you want to do like a pretzel knot with the rope, and if you don't have to do a pretzel knot, make some pretzels and then come back to your hat, but this time you hold a pretzel so it's all good. So we're going to have a bit more dust around where the lasso bit is because I feel like you'd cultivate a lot of dust in those knots and stuff. Breath. And then you're pretty much just done.